Hey, what's going on everybody? This is Noble, and today we're going to be doing an updated version of my Gimmick Puppet deck profile. Gimmick Puppets are really fun. They're definitely a rogue deck that has some crazy artwork. In fact, low-key scary artwork. I don't really know what Konami was thinking putting the artwork on some of these cards. This is a children's card game. Well, it's supposed to be. You know, I'm pretty sure everyone knows it's definitely a 20-year-old game, but it's supposed to be a children's card game. And some of the artwork is just really crazy. But this is a really cool deck. It basically really heavily relies on exceed summoning and ranking up with your your spells into the stronger forms of your exceed monsters, and it's just a ton of fun to play. If you haven't had a chance to pick up this deck, this is definitely a budget friendly deck. I recommend you pick it up. But yeah guys, let's get into this. If you haven't done so already, now's a great time to subscribe, hit the bell so you can become part of the notification team, give this video a thumbs up, and let's jump right on into this one. Okay, so to start this off, we're playing triple Gimmick Puppet Bisque Doll. Now Bisque Doll is really cool. What she does is you can special summon this card from your hand by discarding a Gimmick Puppet monster. Super easy, right? And then you can banish this card from your graveyard. Your opponent cannot target Gimmick Puppet monsters you control with card effects this turn. I mean, neither one of those are once per turn either, which is really nice. But just easy to get out into the field, and then it gives protection from the graveyard as well. And you'll notice a lot of Gimmick Puppets are level 8. They're high levels, because a lot of your exceeds are just level 8 as well. So it works out pretty cool, and we do also play trade-in in this deck to take advantage of that. Next up, we're playing triple Gimmick Puppet Drury Doll. Drury Doll is a card that you want in the graveyard as quickly as you can get her there. Kind of like Dark Lord Superbia if you watch that video. But if this card is in your graveyard, you can banish another Gimmick Puppet monster from your graveyard, special summon this card from your graveyard. So really easy to get in the graveyard, really easy to bring out. You can only use this effect once per turn. And this card cannot be used in Exceed material from an Exceed summon except for the Exceed summon of a Gimmick Puppet monster, which is not going to be a big deal at all. And the artwork is really good too. That Gold Secret looks really good on this in my opinion. Definitely creepy though. Definitely creepy. Next up, playing triple Gimmick Puppet Magnet Doll. Magnet Doll has just a really easy summoning thing. If your opponent controls a monster and all monsters you control Gimmick Puppets, you can special summon this card from your hand. Literally that's it, and this is not even a soft once per turn. So if you have multiple of these, you can bring out multiple ones, just stipulating that you have a Gimmick Puppet on the field, which you will probably. So yeah, these cards don't really have crazy complicated effects. They're pretty straightforward for the most part. So we're running triple of the Gimmick Puppet Humpty Dumpty. This one just kind of freaks me out. I don't know why. I don't like the way it looks. So when this card is normal or special summon, you can special summon a Gimmick Puppet monster from your hand. You only use this effect once per turn. Again, straightforward effect, but it's really helpful. If it hits the field at all, you can special summon another Gimmick Puppet from your hand. And then also, next up after that one, we were playing triple copies of Gimmick Puppet Terror Baby, which, whew, this one is... It looks like something. It looks like something straight out of my, night terrors. Good grief. Really wish they'd have given it a hollow upgrade. Then I could really not sleep at night. But when this card is normal summon, you can target a Gimmick Puppet monster in your graveyard, accept another copy of this card, special summon it in defense position, which is really nice to be able to just straight up bring something from a graveyard to punish summon. You can banish this card from your graveyard. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to the activation of a Gimmick Puppet monster's effects this turn. That is really, really cool. Just being able to banish this and then not have to worry about your opponent responding to your stuff. That is awesome. So you might have noticed that this and Humpty Dumpty are level 4. You're saying, hey Noble, that might be a problem going to our Exceed plays because you said this deck is really Exceed heavy. It is, they are, that's true. But it's not really going to be a problem. There is a card in this deck that we'll get to a little bit later that really helps out with that. So don't worry, don't lose too much sleep over it. If you're gonna lose sleep over something, let it be over that. Don't let it be over the level manipulation of this deck. Okay, so just kind of tech stuff. I'm running one Gizmek Orochi, the Surfatron Sky Slasher. It's just a level 8 as a machine, and it just you can bring it out easily, and it does help go into your Exceed plays if you need to. If you don't feel like banishing stuff, that's fine. I don't really blame you on that one. I'm also playing triple copies of Gear Spring Spirit. This is one I kind of found out about a while ago, and I've really loved it. It's another level 8 machine, and it can't be normal summon or set. Must first be special summon from your hand by having only machine type monsters in your graveyard, which is not going to be a problem. And then once per turn, you can target a face-up monster your opponent controls, and attack becomes 0 to the end phase. So that's kind of cool. You can just use that effect and then go into your Exceed plays from there. I'm also running double Desperado Barrel Dragon. This is also a level 8 Machine Monster. If a face-up dark Machine Monster or monsters you control is destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon this card from your hand, so easy to get out into the field. And then once per turn during the battle phase quick effect, you can toss a coin 3 times, destroy face-up monsters on the field up to the number of heads. If the result was 3 heads, you draw a card. This card cannot attack the turn this effect is activated. This card is sent in the graveyard. You can add a level 7 or lower monster that has a twin cost and effect from your deck to your hand. So basically, you can get the other one of this copy, which is cool that it doesn't have that restriction on it that it's another copy of this card. So I do like having this in here. I think it's been pretty cool. You could also run Mecha Phantom Beast Tetherwolf if you wanted to do that as well. That is helpful. I'm not running it in this particular build, but that is a good card to have as well. Just didn't want it to make it too fat. So but yeah, that's actually it for the monsters. I'm not running hand traps in this one. If you wanted to make room, you could take out some of those techs, maybe take out Gizmek Rochi, and then a few other things. You could definitely throw it in there, but I've been pretty comfortable with it without having hand traps so far. But again, if you want to throw them in there, you could definitely do that. So let's get into the spells. So for the spells, I'm playing Triple Exceed Import. This card is so good. It's so good, and it's so good in this deck too. So it's a quick play spell. If you don't know what this does, it target and exceed monster you control and one monster your opponent controls and attack less than or equal to that monster. And then you attach that opponent's monster to the monster you control's material. You can only activate 1 Exceed Import per turn. On top of looking really cool and it being a quick play, that disruption just saying, hey, you know what, I like that monster. Yeah, it's mine now. This is our monster. It's my monster now. It's our material. It's just a really cool card, like I said, because it's a quick play. It's really cool to be able to activate that during your opponent's turn as well and say, nah, I need more material. Let's fix that. So I like this card a lot. I think it works really great in this deck. Next up, we are playing double copies of the built-in Monster Reborn in this deck, Junk Puppet. You target a Gimmick Puppet monster in your graveyard, special summon it. You can only activate 1 Junk Puppet per turn. That's it. That's all this card does. But it's cool. And it looks really cool too. Next up, playing double copies of Condolence Puppet. Now what Condolence Puppet does is you send a Gimmick Puppet monsters with different names from your deck to the graveyard up to the number of monsters your opponent controls that were special summoned from the extra deck plus 1. Okay, so massive Foolish Burial basically. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target 1 Machine Exceed monster you control, and it cannot be destroyed by your opponent's card effects while face up on the field. You'll use each effect of Condolence Puppet per turn. That is a really cool effect, basically a massive Foolish Burial, and then also giving something protection as long as it's on the face up on the field. That's really cool. This card is awesome. Next up, playing 1 Perform Puppet. Perform Puppet is the card that I was talking about earlier that helps out with Humpty Dumpty and Terror Baby being level 4. Because you can banish a Gimmick Puppet monster from your graveyard, and all monsters you currently control become that banished monster's level until the end of this turn, even if this card leaves the field. And then if a face-up Gimmick Puppet monster you control is destroyed by battle or an opponent's card effect and sent in the graveyard, you can target 1 of your banished Gimmick Puppet monsters and then special summon it. You'll use each effect of Perform Puppet once per turn. Now if you wanted to bump this up to 2, it's actually not a bad idea. You could probably do that. It actually, you know, this is kind of a situational card. You're really only going to use it if you had Terror Baby or Humpty Dumpty on the field, so you might not want to run it at 2. Just kind of play around with it. You know, the ratios are definitely flexible. Next up, playing triple Machine Dupe. Machine Dupe is a really awesome card in this deck because you target 1 face-up machine type monster you control with 500 or less attack and special summon up to 2 monsters from your deck with the same name as that face-up monster. Simple effect, easy to help fill the board with your monsters. You can go into your plays. As far as the rank up stuff goes, playing double copies of Rank Up Magic Numeron Force. This is a really awesome one. You target a face-up Exceed monster you control and special summon from your extra deck 1 number C monster with the same type as that monster you control, but 1 rank higher by using it as material. This is treated as a special summon, and the materials of that monster we can transfer to the new monster. And then if any face-up cards are on the field other than this card and the monster summoned by it, negate the effects of those other cards. Okay, that's crazy. It doesn't target. I mean, it brings out a bigger monster. It doesn't target and negates. And then, however, it is your stuff too. So keep that in mind. If any face-up cards on the field, other than this card and the monster summoned by it, negate the effects of those cards. So that's really cool, but it can hurt you. But most of the time, you're probably going to play with that in mind, so you're not going to get hit with that effect. And it's going to hurt your opponent more than anything. That's really cool secondary effect. And then playing double copies of Rank Up Magic Quick Chaos. Now, Quick Chaos is a quick play spell. You target a number exceed monster you control, except the number C monster. Special summon from your extra deck one number C monster of the same rank as names that target but one rank higher by using it as material. The special summon is treated as an exceed summon, and same thing, the materials of that monster are transferred to the new monster. That's it. This card is really cool, and I do like the fact it's quick play as well. And then I'm also lastly playing double limiter removal. I just really like this card. It helps you OTK quickly. It's a quick play spell. What it does is doubles the attack of all machine monsters you currently control until the end of this turn, and then during the end phase you destroy those monsters. But it's not even a once per turn, so you could chain limiter removal on limiter removal and just swing in for an OTK if you chose to do so. But I have one with this card in this deck. It's kind of fun to limiter removal your Gimmick Puppets, because sometimes you forget the machines. And then just 2 traps playing double copies of Puppet Parade. Really wish this would get a hollow upgrade, at least a super rare or something. Give me something, Konami. But if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, you special summon Gimmick Puppet monsters with different names from your deck. That's the difference. And then if your opponent's life points are at least 2,000 or higher than yours, you can set a Rank Up Magic spell, normal spell directly from your deck. And then for the rest of this turn, after this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters set Gimmick Puppets. You can only activate 1 Puppet Parade per turn. This card does a lot. It literally is a card that can bring you back into the game. This card can single-handedly bring you back and win you the game. Filling up the board, you can set a normal spell, which means that you can activate it that turn because it's a normal spell. So it is really awesome. This card has definitely saved me several times when I thought the end was near. So that's actually it for the main deck, guys. Let's move right on into the extra deck. So as far as the extra deck goes, we're playing double copies of number 40 Gimmick Puppet of Strings. It's 2 level 8 monsters. Once per turn, you can detach material from this card, then place a string counter on each face-up monster on the field, except this card. And then if you do, during your opponent's next end phase, destroy the monsters with string counters. And if you do, inflict 500 damage to your opponent for each monster destroyed. So a lot of times what you're going to do is just use the effect to put string counters on, and then, ideally, you're going to rank up into number C40 Gimmick Puppet of Dark Strings, because what C40 does is when this card is normal summon, destroy the monsters with string counters, and then you draw a card, and then inflict damage to your opponent equal to the highest original attack among those monsters destroyed in the graveyard, and if it's tied, it's your choice. So you're going to use number 40 to just put string counters on the board, then rank up, and then go into this bad boy. You're going to get to destroy things, you're going to get to draw a card, then you're going to get basically the Ring of Destruction your opponent and inflict damage, burn damage to them. So it's really cool, cool little combo there. And then once per turn, you can detach a material from this card, then place a string counter on each face-up monster your opponent controls, which is also really cool. And this card looks awesome as well. This is really great artwork. Next up, playing 1 copy of Gimmick Puppet of Leo, number 88. Once per turn, if you have no cards in your spell and trap card zone, you can detach material from this card, and if you do, place a Destiny counter on this card. You cannot conduct your battle phase. The turn you activate this effect, when 3 Destiny counters are on this card, you win the duel. You're literally probably never going to win a duel that way. You might win with number C88, however, Gimmick Puppet Disaster Leo. I've actually won with him a few times, and it's been pretty satisfying. It must be special summon with a Rank Up Magic spell card targeting number 88 Gimmick Puppet of Leo, and cannot be special summoned by other ways. This card cannot be targeted by card effects, so it has protection. It's really cool. Once per turn, you can detach material from this card and inflict 1,000 damage to your opponent during your end phase. If your opponent's life points are 2,000 or less, and this card has no material, you win the duel. And it's actually cool. It has protection. It has a bigger body, and it has a time bomb, ticking time bomb. Your opponent's going to be like trying to get rid of this thing, especially since you can just inflict 1,000 burn damage just because. I've actually won this thing a few times, like I said. It's really cool because this is a really bad A card in my opinion. I really like the way it looks, and yeah, I like winning with this card. You're not, it's definitely not your go-to strategy, but if you feel the situation is right, it's there. Running 1 number 15 Gimmick Puppet Giant Grinder, 2 level 8 monsters up to twice per turn during your main phase 1. You can detach a material from this card, then target a special summon monster your opponent controls, destroy it, and if it's an Exceed monster, you inflict burn damage equal to its attack. And then number C15 Gimmick Puppet Giant Hunter. Once per turn, you can detach material from this card, then target a card your opponent controls, destroy it, and then if you do, and if it was a monster, inflict damage to your opponent equal to its original attack. So basically, you can just pop anything on the field. I'm running double Gimmick Puppet Gigantus Doll. This card is actually fantastic. It does a lot, so let me explain. 2 level 4 Gimmick Puppet monsters. You can detach 2 materials from this card, then target up to 2 monsters your opponent controls. You gain control of them to the end phase, and then for the rest of this turn, you cannot special summon monsters except Gimmick Puppet monsters. nor declare an attack except with Exceed monsters. So you say, hey, I like those cards. Let me get them. It does target, so keep that in mind though. You can tribute this card. All monsters you currently control become level 8 until the end of this turn. Do you see where we're going with this? You can only use each effect of Gimmick Puppet Gigantus Doll once per turn. So you're literally going to say, give me that, tribute this. Their levels are going to be 8. You're going to go into probably some extra deck plays from there. So they're probably not going to get those monsters back. So this is a really awesome card, and it can help you get rid of some problematic monsters your opponent has. Then lastly, I'm running for the Exceeds and a Zeus Sky Thunder. I'm sure you saw this coming. I love this card. I think it works great in all Exceed decks, especially Exceed heavy decks like this one, like Raid Raptors. It's just a win condition card. It's phenomenal, especially with Exceed import, being able to replenish it, because it replenishes itself as well. I just think it's a really great card. You could definitely win this card in this deck for sure. If you don't have it, don't worry about it. You don't have to run it, but it does help to have such a win condition, strong Exceed monster in an Exceed deck. Running double copies of Gimmick Puppet Chimera Doll. It's a link 2 to machine monsters during your main phase. If you control this link summon card, you can activate this effect. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of this turn except machine Exceed monsters. And then you take a Gimmick Puppet monster from your deck and either add it to your hand or send it to the graveyard. So either put it in your hand or you Foolish Burial it, which is really cool. Then if all monsters you control are Gimmick Puppet monsters, minimum 1, you can special summon a Gimmick Puppet monster from your hand. You'll use the effect once per turn. This is a really cool card. I think 3 is a little bit too much, but 2 seems to be pretty good. And then lastly, just running 1 Nightmare Unicorn, and then also 1 Midnight Crusader Avermax. I didn't want to throw Access Code into this Gimmick Puppet deck because I already have Divine Arsenal in here. But if you have that, you can definitely run it. And then if you don't have Divine Arsenal, you can maybe play an IP or something to kind of give some more protection to your Avermax if you choose to go that route. But that's actually it for the deck profile, guys. I really do hope you enjoyed this one. Like I said, Gimmick Puppet is definitely a budget-friendly deck. You can get most of this deck online for pretty cheap. I think the most expensive one will be probably the big Leo boy, Disaster Leo. I can't remember his name right now. Number C88, Disaster Leo. But he's not terrible. I think he's like $7 or something like that. But yeah, that is it for the deck profile. Let me know down in the comments below, what is your favorite machine deck? A lot of times I forget this is even a machine deck. But you can definitely do limiter removal and what's it called? Machine dupe on this. So it works out a lot, just like in Cyber Dragons. But I'd love to hear, what is your favorite rogue machine deck? Your favorite rogue machine deck. I'd love to hear your thoughts. But yeah, thanks for watching. If you're here and you haven't already done so, now's a great time to subscribe. Hit the bell so you become a part of the notification team so you don't miss anything that goes on this channel. And then if you've done all that or before, like I said, I'm not picky. Give this video a thumbs up that says, hey Noble, I liked your video. I like your content. Keep it up. And it allows my videos to circulate around YouTube, which is very critical for a smaller YouTuber like myself. So thanks for watching. As always, guys, I'll see y'all in the next video.